All right, let's jump on with Mike Carey, Ohio's 15th District Congressman, live in D.C. on the LegacyRetirementGroup.com phone line. Michael, how are you, sir?
I'm great. Good morning. How you doing?
Doing very well. A lot of ground to cover. I want to talk
Absolutely.
about the big, beautiful bill here in just a moment.
Right.
But congratulations to you. Your poison prevention bill passed the House. Talk about that for a second.
Oh yeah, this is a great bill. I mean, we thought we were going to get this through. Unfortunately, we had the CR, which stripped out a lot of the provisions. This was within the CR. Congresswoman Trahan and I, and DeGoose, who's out of Colorado. Again, this is a bipartisan, bicameral piece of legislation. Senator Bernie Moreno picked it up. This is all about this all happened in Hilliard. A young lady, 16-year-old from Hilliard, took her own life after purchasing sodium nitrite online. And listen, in recent years, we've seen this method of self-poisoning grow nearly 900%. So one spoonful of this chemical is far more potent than any other poisons that are currently accessible to the public. So, again, this is something that we passed in a bipartisan nature. I was glad that we got it out last Wednesday. Again, let's get through. This isn't something that we can put on the reconciliation package, just given the way that the rules of reconciliation are. But the fact that it passed the House, and now Bernie and Senator Duckworth are picking it up in the Senate. Love
Good.
to have this done, shortly here after reconciliation. It's a very important bill that has Central Ohio ties, and really proud to be the lead on that.
Give me a quick background on this. What is sodium nitrite? Will people purchase it online illegally or legally, or what's the deal?
Well, it's the amount that they're able to purchase online.
Okay.
A lot of this, sodium nitrite usage is something that in preserving meats and things that a lot of people use, but it's the amount that you can use.
Okay.
And again, if you just use a spoonful, it's lethal. And being children underage. I mean, this was a 16-year-old child that was able to purchase this online. And took her life using this. That's something that's readily available. There were, there's message boards on ways to do suicide. And again, these are all things that are preventable. And we're not trying to take away the right of somebody that uses this product for the preservation of meats. But what we're saying is you don't need it in this large amount, and you definitely don't need to be doing it if you're somebody under the age of 18.
Well, again, congratulations for getting it across the finish line in the House, off to your colleagues in the Senate, and I would encourage them as well to get this thing done for
Absolutely.
you. Congressman Mike Carey, Ohio's 15th District. Congressman, I'm not in your district, unfortunately. I wish I was. I have the pleasure of having Joyce Beatty as my congressperson, but I would speak on behalf of everyone in the 15th, and I think this is a no-brainer, that those folks and all of Ohioans do not want a tax hike. We need to get the big, beautiful bill across the finish line. Congress needs to extend the Trump 2017 tax cuts. Where do we stand? Because the last I saw, Speaker Johnson wanted to get this thing done by Memorial Day.
Oh, yeah, I think he does, and I think, we on the Ways and Means Committee acknowledge the fact that we want to have a bill signed into law by the first part of July. So, yeah, as part of the method of which you have got to get it through the House and the Senate. But what I want to talk, and again, let's talk about numbers, because you're talking about Ohio's 15th congressional district. 65% of our constituents within the Ohio's 15th congressional district live right in Franklin County. So let's put the numbers out as the listeners are driving their kids to school, they're going to work, they're delivering products. Want you to understand, if we do nothing on this, 88,160 of Ohio's 15th congressional district's families would see their household's child tax credit cut in half. So what is that number? Right now, currently, it's $2,000 per child. If we do nothing, that will go down to $1,000. 92% of the taxpayers in Ohio's 15th congressional district would see their guaranteed deduction slashed in half. So if we do nothing, 88,160 families would see their child tax credit cut in half, and 92% of the people would see their guaranteed deduction slashed in half. This is why it's important. Now, the other side doesn't want to tell you that. But let's talk about these small business owners. I mean, a lot of my friends, they have their own business. They're delivering products around central Ohio or all over the 15th, but all over Ohio, not just the 15th congressional district. It can be in Joyce's district, Jim's district, and Troy's district. But small businesses in Ohio, the 15th. I mean, that make up, the lion's share of our job creators. If we do nothing, 199A, small business deduction would be set to expire, and small businesses would face a 43.4% tax increase. I mean, this is insane.
That's devastating.
Devastating. And so I know we have some farmers in Franklin County, but let's look at the folks in Fayette and Madison, and you can go down to Ross and Pickaway and Fairfield. I mean, not all in my district, but if you look at just at the family farmers in Ohio's 15th congressional district, their death tax exemption would be the entire death tax exemption would be slashed in nearly half. So these are real numbers. I mean, these are numbers that, please Google these or DuckDuckGo or whatever search engine you use.
Yeah.
Google these numbers, because when people they talk about, that this tax policy affects only this group of people. No, listen, the current tax rate on somebody with the income of $12,150 is currently at 10%. If we do nothing, the tax rate would go up to 15%. People making $50,000. 12% right now. It would go up to 15%. These aren't people that are, making millions of dollars. These are real hard-working Ohioans and members of our community.
Yeah.
They deserve this Tax Cut and Jobs Act. It's set to expire. We got to get it done.
You mentioned Troy and Jim Jordan, of course, in the 4th. I'm sure they see eye to eye with you, and they want to get this thing done as well. But what about Joyce, Democrat Joyce Beatty, here in the 3rd? Do you have conversations? Does she realize what's at stake here?
I think what you have to understand is, I think there are provisions within this Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that I think everybody can agree with. I think everybody agrees with the child tax credit. I think everybody wants to make sure that our small businesses grow. I've worked with, and as you know, Joyce and I created the Civility Caucus together, working together, it reestablished it. So listen, I think there's a lot of provisions that are within this. But I think what we have to look at is holistically, and we've got to do this in the House, and we've got, to me, we've got a couple swords of Damocles, if you will, that are hanging over our heads. The numbers on trying to get TCJA, the pay for in 2017, was largely due because of the SALT deduction and the cap, the $10,000 cap. Well, that works for us in Central Ohio. It works for us in the 15th Congressional District and in Joyce's district and in Jim's and Troy's. But when you go out to places in New York or places in California, and I did a district swap with a Democrat up in Chicago, same type of thing. This SALT deduction, state and local tax deduction, because they are so high taxed, disproportionately affects folks in those areas because they have the high tax. But these could be police officers and firefighters and teachers and postal workers that fall within this within this issue of the SALT deduction. So that is the real key right now. We've got to fix that. Once we get a number and hopefully we can move forward, I think the plan is to have some type of markup on our bill in the House by the 1st of next week. So I think we're going to get there. I think it'll likely be more of a partisan bill, but I think there are many provisions within the bill that I think Democrats will like. It's just I think many of the Democrats just don't want to give President Trump a victory.
I was just going to say the same thing. This is where politics makes me nuts. They just don't want to give him a victory, but we shall see. Keep fighting that good fight, Michael. And then real quick, you've got an event Friday, Veterans Wellness Day in Canal Winchester. What's going on there?
Look, this is a great thing that we've done. We did it. We did it at the Legion Post that was on South High. We've done it over in Sydney, Ohio. But this Friday we are set to do it at Canal Winchester. It's an opportunity. Every military service member, active or retired, should have easy access to their benefits. And so we get a lot of people. We work in conjunction with a lot of the people at the state level and the county level and at the federal level. We'll have multiple booths there, and I think it's going to be, again, this is just a way for veterans, as a veteran myself, ensuring that our nation's veterans get the access to all the benefits is incredibly important to me. But it also, we're going to have our team there. And listen, I've got two very good people on my staff along with me that are veterans. and they if somebody has a concern with the VA, if somebody has a concern, and it could be not just VA. I mean, there could be issues with Social Security, there could be issues with passports or whatever. But this is really geared to our veterans, a very important group of individuals
no doubt.
To me. And so, but this is going to be down there. In fact, is oddly enough, a dear friend of mine, Larry Flowers, who used to be the state fire marshal, former state representative, called me up, texted me, and he said he's from Canal Winchester, and he's like, "Hey, Mike, is there any way I can help with this? Because I think it's such an important thing. It's people like that are just reaching out because they know how important our vets are to us." And we said, "Of course, Larry, please come on down. We'll have some food there, and we're looking to really make this something important and special."
Well, good for you. You're doing good work. Again, it's Friday, Canal Winchester Community Center, 1 to 5, Veterans Wellness Day. Michael, appreciate the time as always, sir. We'll check in again soon.
Great to be with you. Take care.